Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. The commentary for this session, the live commentary that is, corrupted. And therefore this is after commentary. The session lasted over an hour. And I didn't fancy commentating after the fact for that length of time. So I've actually edited this video down to the key parts, cutting out the menial stuff such as exploring, looting and that kind of stuff, and I've just stuck to the main plot points and the battles. So enjoy the after commentary. So here's Fedoran with his party emerging into the crisp, cool air of the Russet Wood with one task left in the area, having secured the friendship of Bereghan and her clan. He has to find a beast, a cunning wolf that has repeatedly eluded efforts to trap and kill it, and there are signs that it's in the vicinity. So,
Itamag, leave the pig alone.
After Itamag has terrorised Hector, the party go in search of this wolf. They come upon 3 bodies and fresh blood and feel as if they're on the doorstep. However, upon attempting to rifle through the pockets of one of the corpses, Adair notices a rather large bear in the distance. He reports this to the party and Fedoran asks Sagani to take a look from the shadows.
I'll take a look.
Just to see if there's any sign of the target that we are seeking. Unfortunately, she steps on a branch, causing a large crack and alerting the bear to her presence. The rest of the party rush in to assist.
No good to me.
Ready, Watcher.
This
The great majestic creature falls finally.
Hey.
The party somewhat upset at having to slay it, but they press on with their investigation. Whilst exploring, they stumble into 4 pale elves surrounding a crag ogre. And having just secured the favour of Berrigan and her clan, Fedoran feels the need to try and assist this thing. The elves are not engaged in battle, but there is a rope bound around the ogre's neck, with one of the elves tugging harshly upon it and apparently barking instructions to the others. "This is pointless, beast. You won't get anywhere being stubborn." The ogre snorts angrily and pulls back on the rope. 2 other elves prod him with poleaxes. The ogre does not budge. "Hey, Vamrel!" The group of pale elves turn to look at Fedoran, who approaches, thinking on his feet about what to say to defuse the situation. He decides to ask them what they're doing. "This creature will accompany us to Wasteland. We've had some trouble on the roads, but having an ogre along should put an end to it," says the apparent leader. "I purchased him from some slave hunters not far from here, looking to recoup their expenses, I expect. Not sure he's worth quite so much coin." Fedoran attempts to keep the conversation going while he thinks on his feet. He comments that they're a long way from home. "Oh, we'll be further from it still tomorrow, just picking up some help along the way." He then decides to change tact and calls the ogre a rather sad specimen. "He came cheap. We need the muscle. God knows they're good for little else." The leader tugs on the rope again. Fedoran was hoping that they would abandon the ogre upon hearing that he appeared useless. However, the ogre gives a great bellow and suddenly lunges backward, tearing the rope free of his captor's hands. He pulls apart the bindings on his arms with a triumphant roar. "What have you done?" Karna prepares for battle. "Stop that ogre, but don't damage my property, and bring me that fool's head!" Okay, so yeah, Fedoran not the one to openly punch somebody in the face. We were kind of limited with our options there. So Fedoran trying to insult the ogre in the hope that the elves may decide to abandon him. However, the ogre took offence and everybody's hostile. Silver Tongue not quite working so well this time, I feel.
Can't get a good shot at this. Get on!
This isn't working!
The entire group fall, including the Crag Ogre. Fedoran
Hey,
orders the party to rifle through the pockets of the fallen and to move on, hoping that Berrigan doesn't find out what happened here. Later on, they uncover a shrine, covered in a thick layer of snow, fallen leaves and feathers. It does not appear to have been frequented very often, and under a dusting of frost, Fedoran notices a rectangular section of the altar's surface that seems to be cleaner than the rest, indicating that something once rested there. He touches the altar. He feels a tingle run up his arm as he sets his finger upon the altar. In the instants after, the wind seems to die down and the sounds of the wilderness growing muted to Fedoran's hearing. Then he hears a sudden low growl, quickly joined by more. A vision strikes him like a sudden memory, though it is unbound by time or place. Within a sea of darkness, he sees a great beast, formless save for its gleaming fangs. It growls and snaps with increasing desperation and savagery, and for a moment Fedoran feels its rage as his own, a possessive fury that tears at him. Something has been taken, your territory threatened, and the price for it will be blood. And then the vision fades, and the altar stands still and silent. Fedoran has a feeling that this has got something to do with the wolf that we seek. The party move on, and several paces later, they stumble into an ice cave. Bones and
Ready, Watcher.
patches of blood can be
take a look.
seen on the floor of the cave, indicating that this could well be the location they seek. And as Sagani explores, approaching can be seen a pack of wolves, led by one standing tall amongst the others. The creature turns to face the party. Scores of wounds and scars riddle its hide, and one dull eye stares out blindly from its skull. The group of them growling as Fedoran and the party approach. Fedoran recognises this half-wolf for a spirit-shifted form of a druid, although no intelligence can be seen within its gaze. And at its feet lie two villagers, one heavily wounded, the other holding an arm across a stomach and looking up with pleading eyes.
Help! Please help us!
This complicates matters. Fedoran needs to act. As the beast turns its head back towards the hunter, Fedora senses a strange aura emanating from it. It is as if its hide were holding in a tempest of soul essence, fierce and all-consuming as flame. Fedoran reaches out for the beast's soul. It takes little effort before the beast's soul threatens to overwhelm Fedoran with its intensity. Wrath and hunger buff at Fedoran on all sides, until he reaches through the storm to find a smaller, dimmer pulse of light, and he's swept headlong into a memory. The chill bites into your cheeks, and your lungs burn a little from the run. You look down at the little wooden carving in your hand and run your thumb along the edge of the carved bear's spine. The totem has already brought you luck. You found 2 rabbits and as many snares, and that's a rare enough feat these days. You're certain now that this was a gift from Gallowayne, that you were meant to find it on that lonely shrine and take it.
Soldier.
Your father's voice snaps you out of your reflections, and you rush forward to rejoin him beside the campfire. You brandish the hairs and catch a glimpse of a rare smile under his greying beard. But the smile disappears almost immediately as a shadow falls over you both. You feel the rush of wind a moment before the log comes crashing down and roll out of the way just in time. You hear your father cry out in pain somewhere nearby. Both the hairs and the totem slip from your grasp. You can feel power surging within you. Your heart thunders in your chest, but instinct pulls your senses into order, and you feel the familiar stretch of limbs, the sudden dizzying shift in height. But something is wrong. Your senses are fading rather than growing stronger. There's a howling in your head like a screaming chorus, and everything in you shrieks for you to bite, to tear, to eat. The memory slips from you, and when you come back to yourself, the beast is shaking its head as if to clear an itch, clawing at its ears. Fedoran calls out the beast's name in an attempt to snap it out of its form. The creature snaps and snarls, evidently uncomprehending. It edges towards the nearest hunter, even as it watches you balefully with its single eye. There's not a time to dither. Fedoran has to act now. He rushes forward to help the hunters. The beast turns from its wounded prey to face Fedoran and lunges forward with claws outstretched.
Ready when you are.
Zawa is ready.
Hey.
The last of the wolves falls.
Hey.
Or so the party thought. Because as they approach the hunters to check on them, another one lunges out of the shadows. It's quick quickly felled, however, and that appears to be the last of them.
Hey.
Fedoran checks on the hunters. They're wounded, but they'll live. They assure Fedoran they'll be able to make it back to the Stalwart village
All right.
on their
then.
own after they've had time to come to their senses. Fedoran leaves them with some food
Zawa is ready.
and makes his way back to the village himself.
Ready when you are.
He speaks with Thrisk.
Watch yourself on the mountain. In these lean times, everything looks like prey to something.
Fedoran takes a breath, a pause, eyeing Thrisk. He informs him that he found a wolf.
I see. Is it done? Is he dead?
Fedoran expresses his displeasure at not being told that he'd have to kill a druid. Thrisk comments that he feared Fedoran might balk at the task if he knew what Suldred had once been.
You have to understand. To think my son capable of what he did. That was not Suldred. The beast devoured my boy. And so, you did the right thing.
Fedoran is shocked.
Yes. He was my son. It was a cruel trick of the gods to give him a gift that brought him such joy and then to twist it.
Fedoran expresses his apologies. He explains that he tried to get through to the beast, but he couldn't do it. He was long gone. If there was any way to get through to him, I would have found it by now.
Difficult as it must have been, you did what you had to. The people of Stalwart are that much safer for it. You've brought me what peace the gods will allow me. This served me well in my younger days, and I hope that it will do the same for you.
Fedoran graciously accepts the gift, offers his condolences, and heads on out to his next location.
Just say the word.
Zawa is ready.
Ondra's temple.
Hey.
The party prepare for a showdown, sensing that trouble
Ready when you are.
is afoot. You return. How may the goddess help you? Fedoran mentioning that he found chests that just so happened to be filled with rocks. I see. No use in keeping this charade any longer, is there? Her group springs into action. The sounds of unsheathing blades fills the room. But we shouldn't act so rashly. She holds up her hand. The thieves keep their weapons pointed at Fedoran. We've been pretending, yes, but is it so different from what Ondra's priests do? Villagers and travellers give us things they want to forget. We make them disappear. Isn't that the same thing? We aren't murderers, and we prefer to be as far away from this cursed place as we can. Why make a bloody mess out of this? I'm willing to help you look the other way. She fixes her eyes on Fedoran. He can't accept it. A thief is a thief, he thinks. Although he puts his memory of the Brackenbury burglary to the back of his mind. He informs Laughter that he'll let the villagers decide what to do with them. Feeling that it won't go down too well. Laughter stiffens, her face hardens, and she raises an arm. There's a pistol pointing right at him.
Ready when you are. Hey.
And so justice is served, and upon looting the chest within the corner of the chapel, White Crest armour, dwarven, something that could really be put to good use, and the amulet to be returned to Okran. Fedoran updates him on the situation. He explains that he has found the medallion. The dwarf is excited. He smiles and asks to see it. And Fedoran hands it over. Okran takes the medallion gingerly into his palms, taking care not to smudge it with his fingertips. Yes, It's her medallion! You've done good here today, I swear, if I had a kingdom's treasure to give you in return. Fedoran doesn't even miss a step. He informs Oakran that he's also found the armour. I don't need it. Don't know what I'd do with it. He nods. Keep it. More luck to you. He also hands over 1,200 copper. And he turns around and walks away, not looking at the path ahead, but at the precious heirloom clenched in his hands. He strides off with a newfound confidence. And so the final deed of the day is to confront Aelif in the inn. Fedoran bringing up the killing of the boy.
And I thought you were going to get rid of Devala, not sell me out to her. What she said is true. I had a gambling problem when I was younger. I've paid 7 years of my life for it. I won't pay any more. As for the boy, I didn't want to hurt him, but he saw me as I was sneaking out of the stockade.
He slumps and shakes his head.
I wish it had gone differently, but I'd do it again. Anything to keep from getting sent back to that place.
Fedoran takes a breath, looking at Aelif with a sense of pity. But murder is murder, and all we have is this dwarf's testimony. For now, a place in Fedoran's Keep prison should suffice. Aelif hunches like a cornered animal, baring his teeth in a grimace. His eyes dart around the dingy room and then back to Fedoran. Finally, he straightens and sighs.
It's not a yoke around my neck, and I suppose it's better than dying in this frozen crater of a town.
He musters the last of his dignity and prepares for the long march to Fedoran's Keep. Fedoran nods to Sagani. He's going to need an escort. And that opens up the party for a new member. Until next time, we'll see you soon.